What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the Tuesday Track Talk podcast featuring your Three Stones Pit crew. I'm your gas man, Cam.
I'm your Jack man, Kellen.
I'm your tire changer, Cam.
And I think I skipped it on the intro there, but we are gathered here for episode number 62. And we've got a bloated episode for you today, coming off of Turkey Day and a long break. And being a couch potato, watching football, eating food, and not moving. So, before we get into it, boys, let's just do a quick check in. And I know I feel like I just saw you guys, but how was Thanksgiving for you guys, and how we doing today?
Good.
I'm bet.
Turn the heat on for the first time, so it always smells like the place is burning down.
No. I definitely played into the couch potato factor on Sunday due to the events of Saturday. We'll just say that. So I'm in a lot better condition today than I was yesterday. No, Thanksgiving was good. Got to obviously see the fam. It was a little quick because I had work on Friday. Got to travel the country a little bit on Friday for Black Friday. But yeah, met up with you guys on Saturday, recovered on Sunday, and here we are today as we record on Monday.
For sure.
I have to say, I think this is, as an adult, I think this is probably my favorite time of year because, well, you didn't, but very rarely as an adult do you get a 4-day weekend, 2 days off of work. So enjoy Thanksgiving. And this is like the flip of the page, and then you're rolling right into the countdown to Christmas. So, fun time of year.
I could also appreciate it as an adult because you get some damn good home cooking out of it too.
That too.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's good long break. Time with family. Ate a lot of food, and here we are, right back into the swing of things. So, let's jump into some racing talk. So, I know we were together, and we had a couple of races on there on Saturday night that were big ones. And let's start off with the USAC Turkey Night Grand Prix. There were some big names at that race, and some big names that couldn't even crack the show. So, um, I'll just kick it to you guys. You guys can hit your initial thoughts, and we'll go from there on the USAC Turkey Night Grand Prix.
Well, you were talking about guys that did make the show. Kyle Busch and Ty Gibbs were the two notable ones as far as NASCAR guys go. And we got to see why Gibbs lifted the dirt restrictions on his drivers
very quickly.
Yep.
So hopefully that means, again, we get to see Christopher Bell run the Chili Bowl Nationals this year. But the old grandkid hopped into the dirt midget and got a lesson as far as how hard those things can be to drive. We'll say that. So
yeah, I think that's not that you ever cheer, for them to struggle, but I think that is, for a race fan, it is interesting to see. When they show up to a race like that, everybody expects them to, they're a NASCAR guy, hop in a midget and be able to drive that thing right up front, and not so fast. Hopping into a different animal that drives totally different, and you're going up against some of the best in that discipline. So, yeah, it was a fun night of racing for sure.
A guy that did make the show though was Kyle Larson, and we'll touch on that a little bit as we dive into the race itself. Jacob Denny was the guy that was strong. He ran really good in practice on Friday. Was really good in qualifying. Was fast, and he started up front in his race. It's between him, Pursley, Kofoid, and Day for the win. But the majority of the race, it was Denny, Pursley, and Kofoid fighting for the lead throughout the entire race. A lot of green flag runs in this one, long green flag runs, I should say, in this one. Had just a couple of 1-2 car spins that broke it up a little bit. Um, Obviously, lap traffic partially played into guys racing with each other, but for the most part, it was pretty clean. Um, Up until you got to the halfway point in this race, and you probably got what was the biggest bit of this race? Corey Day got into Kyle Larson and spun Larson out. Kind of
Yeah,
overshot
Larson
it.
wasn't too thrilled with that whole situation.
Yeah, showed a tad bit of displeasure. And ultimately he couldn't really gain his way back up. Sent him to the back, and he ended up finishing 20th
Yep.
out of that. So definitely hurt him. Um, Yeah, so then obviously you get the restart back going. The guys are racing at it. Cole Foyd misses it a little bit. He hits the wall. He ends up dropping to third. Um, but Corey Day, he showed his will again. He started eighth in that one, so a little bit of a charge, but he ended up digging really hard into turn one to get under Denny just before the caution comes out. And per the rule, he ended up resuming the lead. And after that, he just took off from there.
Yep.
Did Corey Day things.
Yep.
So I'm sure Denny, like I said, Denny had a really damn good run, um, and just got beat by Corey Day there that little bit, and ultimately Day pulled away to end
Yep.
up winning it. So um, Jason Pursley also wrapped up his championship season by winning the USAC National Midget Championship this weekend. So filled in the last little bit of the USAC champs there.
Yep.
So. Overall, again, just a good race, long race, 98 lap race for that one. Kind of the last big tune up before the guys head to the Chili Bowl here in mid January. Um, yeah, just another iconic race, another one in the books, and again, we wait till the Chili Bowl.
Yep.
So,
And I think, like you said, for some of those guys that have experience in it, obviously, notably the Gibbs crew from on the NASCAR side of things, um, not official, but could be a little tune up there for some of those guys. So,
yep.
getting some seat time and getting everything right. So, um, yeah, that'll be interesting because Chili Bowl is right around the corner.
And in traditional fashion, they started releasing their entry list after they hit the 100 car mark. So they did that as of recent. Still a lot of guys you expect to show up on that list. So best I could say is stay tuned.
Yeah. For sure.
So
And then outside of that, I guess this was racing related. Um, but JJ Yaley, man, arguably the interview of the year there.
oh yeah. Yep. Matt
Oh boy.
Weaver Matt
Oh
Weaver
boy.
just went out on X and said this is a JJ Yelly appreciation post.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy had some words, and he didn't mince any of them.
And then tried to follow up with those words too in the pits.
Yeah.
He was going to stand behind his word.
Yep.
So
He didn't
um,
give a shit.
nope. And as I always say, there's one way that a young guy can learn, and usually they learn by getting popped in the nose.
Yep.
And JJ Elliott was about to teach that lesson.
Yeah,
For
he
sure.
was. He was, as one would say, he was running hot
Oh,
um,
he was hot.
after that. So,
I want to try and find the tweet. And again, I bookmarked some stuff, but not everything. But I know Matt Weaver, obviously a big late model guy, but he was obviously watching this one. He posted some stuff about that race, about JJ Elliott especially. Uh, da, da, da.
Late candidate for interview of the year.
Yep. And then, yeah, he said that JJ he said it before, he's written it, that is pound for pound one of the best race car drivers the world never got a chance to fully utilize. He said that he hopes that he could get the funding to run a full season in non-wing or wing stuff. Um, as Weaver says, I want that weekly TV show from JJ Yaley.
Absolutely.
So, no, I mean, I told you guys, Yaley's a triple crown champion when it comes to
Yep.
USAC.
Yep.
So you can get it done, that's for sure.
Yeah, dude can wheel a race car without a doubt.
So, no, that'd be cool though. See him back in USAC. So, but
Yep.
showing them that he still got the passion and the drive for it.
Absolutely.
Any other final thoughts on the old USAC Turkey Night Grand Prix?
Nope.
Getting that much closer to Chili Bowl.
Yep.
So,
Let's hop right into the next race then, which we were dual screening it on Saturday night, and not to be defeated by some internet difficulties, struggles that we had. We overcame it, but we had the Bigley 128 at Freedom Factory, um, and I'll start it, and let's just say that was just a good old Midwest ass kicking. So that's where I'll start, and then I'll kick it to you guys and see where see where you guys want to go with it.
I didn't realize that there was a Midwest Tour show down in Florida this year.
Yeah, yeah, no shit. Late addition to the schedule, apparently.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
Well, and I mean, we were talking about it that there was a good Midwest presence there to start off with, and the guys ran good there in the past as well. The guys I mean as Midwest guys, so
yep.
um, you knew they
Ultimately,
were going to be a threat to reckon with, and especially when practice came around.
practice looked really good, and you just wondered late. It cooled off for qualifying. Guys had practiced the night before, all kind of all at the same time, but you just didn't really know what anyone had. And Midwest guys had the top 5 spots.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, I mean the state of Wisconsin had the top 5 spots.
Yep, when it came into it. So, and I mean, obviously you get in race conditions and things can change from there. But you had that redraw and some of them guys got up front very early and stayed up front. Yep, that's one of them.
Casey Johnson draws the front row.
Yep,
There's nothing more you can ask for him. Luke Fenhouse draws the front row.
yep. DeAngelis is up there. Obviously, Majeski started third in that one after getting quick time.
I mean, Johnny Sauter qualified what, second, third,
Second or third, yeah.
and he draws the 10.
Kind of
But
got marred by traffic there a little bit, but
yeah, he got caught on the outside there on that restart. But no, I mean, we
what can you
knew
say?
we knew we had some good super late model racing up here, but God, good Lord, to send some of these guys down to that place for the first, like Casey Johnson's never been to the place.
Yep,
Qualified in the top 5 and finished second.
yep.
Undoubtable second. Like Majeski had the field covered. Johnson had DeAngelis at third covered too.
Yep. Yeah, got that right. Beat DeAngelis by 5 seconds.
And tip of the cap to DeAngelis to have a hell of a run.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize that April worked with him a little bit more than what was led on to. Steve April knows his way around a race car and has loaned out some race cars to some guys.
to some really good race car drivers.
Yeah.
Um yeah, that was good to see. He as Nasty said in his post race interviews, he hate to see when those Wisconsin guys come down.
Yep. Kind of goes you back to the day when you see some like trickle roll in. It's like, oh, he's here.
Yep. Yep, for sure.
So, race was definitely a race of attrition. It took a couple guys out. I mean, early. Um, Mario Gosselin, I mean, he got turned in the wall, but he took an early bow. Kraus ended up breaking in that one.
Yeah.
John the knee had some issues. Morrissey had some issues. So you had guys that just from attrition.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of our hometown favorites there in the Midwest, um, bowed out, second car out of the race there, 20
Hmm.
laps in. Kraus pulled off there, and it sounds like he had an left rear axle, something in the rear end broke. So
Yeah. Axle tube.
um, hate seeing that, but did get some action right away. I forget who it was that got it's Jonathan Nee made a little contact there, and we did have a little bit of um,
Well, Mario Goslin was the one that got spun early.
and then he was the old helmet slinger and Hans slinger,
Oh, no. That was the
That was
37. Is that Goddard?
Goddard. Yep.
Yeah.
and that was Nee that spun him, wasn't it, or sent him up there, or was that Johnny?
Yeah.
Yeah, he threw his helmet at Jonathan. Yeah, I don't really know. I missed the whole kind of replay of what the whole situation was, but
He connected with the old helmet there, to
the
say the
helmet
least.
connected. The Hans device was like 5 or 6 cars late, but
Yeah.
the intent was there.
Can only throw one device at a time, so he had to pick which one he wanted to connect with, and the
Yep.
old helmet does a little bit more damage. Got a little bit more pop behind the helmet than the Hans device.
Yeah.
And then after that, and we mentioned this, I don't remember if this was after the Goslin one or if this was after the Goddard one, but cautions bred cautions after that.
It was kind of a little bit of both. It was Gosling got turned, and then Goddard kind of got roughed up, and it was just like
You got a
they'd
car
run a
spin
little.
here and a car spin here, and
Well, and then your defending race winner in Jet Nolan, he breaks late in the race as well.
yep. And
He
then
was
you had
kind of
that,
the last caution before the long run to finish the race.
yep. And then you had that big pile up on the restart after
Yep.
Morrissey got in the wall and
Yep.
just stacked a bunch of guys up there.
Yeah.
Dude, Tilly got a whole nose of rear bumper, and
Yep. Yeah, it was just kind of the whole melee of somebody just didn't go or got turned or had an issue, and the whole field came sailing in behind you.
yep, away it went. So, and then yeah, ultimately they finally got that long green flag run to end the race. I mean, Majeski was just picking guys off at that point, lapped them all the way up to 11th place.
Yep.
Um, and again, just kind of ran away with it at that point.
That
Nasty was
was
gaining some ground. Dylan Bigley definitely was your hard charger for that race.
Oh, that car was hot late in the race. He just all of a sudden he was passing guys like they were standing still there for a little
Yep,
while.
yep.
And
So I
good,
mean, ultimately, it's good to see the namesake for the race um,
yeah,
have a good run there at the end.
yeah. I mean, he got in on a provisional, ended up finishing fifth. Talk about
Yep,
making the most of a provisional.
yep, absolutely.
Hell of a run for sure. But no, ultimately it was a Wisconsin podium. That's what it came down to.
Yep, Majeski wins it. Casey Johnson second. D'Angelo's third. Um, I guess we'll just kind of run the top 10 here real quick. Yeah, Stephen Assey fourth. Dylan Bigley fifth. Michael Atwell sixth. Uh, Tyler Tanner seventh. Tim Sazio, if I got that right, eighth. Luke Fenhouse ninth. And then Daniel Webster was 10th.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just a good old fashioned Midwest ass whooping.
Yep.
From the time the cars unloaded to the time the checkered flag flew, it was and Johnson was one to me that I was just curious how he was going to do. He's fast up here,
Yep.
but to go somewhere new for the first time, never been there, just unloaded and said, "All right, we're going to go racing." I was just curious to see how that would go, and it's like we were at the Dells.
Yep.
So
I tell you what, a guy I'd be looking into, and I mean we'll talk about it here in a little bit too. But Steven Assey, he's got a little confidence, he's got a little momentum going into this weekend.
yeah, I also noticed in his testing video they were testing the car without a wrap on it. So
Brand new car.
testing a couple cars.
You know, a couple guys are bringing a couple cars down.
Well, you got to think he's going to be with Campy.
Yep.
So yeah, no, that was good. It was fun. I'm just glad that the Midwest boys just put a whooping on them.
Yep. Good for him.
Yeah, builds a little character, one might say.
No, and fun for us being Midwest guys. We're watching the race, and they should have had a Wisconsin against the world there, or Midwest versus the world, because we were sitting there, and I mean, I think it was just Wisconsin guys that it was like we had 6 of the top 8 or 6 of the top 10, and it's like,
I mean, at one point we had the first 2 rows covered.
yeah, so you're gonna show up and
ready to
beat
rumble.
down. Yeah, I was gonna say those boys showed up ready to rock and roll, and sometimes I think in the Midwest we take it for granted what we have right in our backyard, and then it takes a race like that for us to sit back and say, "Wow, we really do have some of the best right in our backyard." So, fun to see for us. Again, good race, a lot of attrition, and overall, I think from our standpoint too, we should say kudos to Cletus and his crew for putting that on. It seems to be the driver feedback, just the way they take care of the drivers and the way the event is run. Seems to be a lot of feedback, so a lot of good feedback. So kudos to Cletus and his crew. It's a fun, it's a cool race at a cool time, and so hopefully he can keep that rocking and rolling. He didn't have to when he bought that racetrack. Didn't have to do what he's doing. So just a cool event all around.
That's again even this staff, but also the UARA with Ricky Brooks. A resounding, very positive feedback for Ricky Brooks and his programs in post race interviews. So not only the facility, like you just mentioned, Cam, but also the series itself and Ricky Brooks and how he operates. That a resounding, very, very positive feedback from even the Wisconsin guys from the podium. So very, very positive to hear.
I'd say that's something if you could pull them guys to come down.
Yep.
And we mentioned too, like this is a hell of a way to pair it up and make a trip worth it for guys that are doing the Snowball as well.
Yep. Yeah, today's Monday. You got a practice day. You can leave the Freedom Factory on Saturday night or Sunday morning. You can drive up to Five Flags and be parked in practice, and the next thing you know, you got 2 days off. You got the draw, and then you're back to practice and qualifying for the Derby.
Yep. Again, just makes the drive down there worth it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and that's why I said, cool event that Cletus is, cool event that Cletus puts on, takes care of the people, and again, just a perfect time for, a lot of those guys: Majeski, Kraus, Johnson, Storm, Fenhouse, all those guys, Johnny D. They can make a week-long trip out of it. So hopefully Cletus keeps planning to keep that event rocking and rolling, because I know we certainly enjoy it. So Any other final thoughts on the Bigley?
Nope,
Hashtag Midwest is best.
got that
Yep.
right.
All right. Let's get into um yeah.
That
I
segment.
just real yeah, that segment that we still don't have a name for it. Guess this week actually no, it can't be. I was gonna say this week the segment could be your Thanksgiving Day plate. A little bit of everything. So um let's just get rocking and rolling into our, you know, I'm just gonna roll with the random facts segment. So um I'll let one of you two stones kick it off.
I'll go ahead and take these first two. They kind of go hand in hand with each other. So, basically, Tricon has finalized their full-time driver lineup in terms of who they will have going full-time. So they announced Tony Breidinger will run full-time in the 5, replacing Dean Thompson, who was in that truck last year. And they announced just this morning, on Monday morning, on December 2nd, Gio Ruggiero will be driving the 17 full time for that program next year as well. So, um, yeah, they've finalized who their full time drivers will be. So, Tricon Garage is set to go for 2025.
Yep. Some more moves that were made. It was up in the air who was going to be the crew chief for the old 54 in the Cup Series. Well, that got announced today. Uh, Xfinity crew chief Tyler Allen will move up to crew chief for Joe Gibbs in the 54 Cup Series, and then Jason Radcliffe will call the shots for Taylor Gray in the 54 Xfinity car for next year.
Gibbs got themselves in the news frequently this off season.
Mm-hmm.
Organizational shakeups, to say the least.
Yep. Kind of sticking with that Xfinity side of things. Joey Gase Racing announces they'll have 2 full-time cars in 2025. No drivers were announced though.
That was a surprise.
So be interested to see what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take these last two, I guess.
We'll see how your name pronunciation is here.
Yeah, well, I was seeing here. We're gonna, do a little flip flop here. Aaron Reitzel, sprint car name stay. He is joining RSR Racing and will run the High Limit Tour in 2025. So, Reitzel, big name in sprint car world, and correct me if I'm wrong. He usually runs that. Is it the 87?
Yep.
So he's joining RSR and going high limit racing next year. So be interesting to see how he shakes out. I know he's a big Eldora guy, or not Eldora, Knoxville guy. So we'll see if he can what he can do on the high limit tour next year. Yeah, you left this one for the person with the worst reading.
Well, you love G1.
Here we go. Yeah, G1. So, Sergio Perez is rumored to be out of Red Bull Racing at the end of the year, and then looks like Yuki Tsunoda to Sonata.
You did better on the second part. Yuki Tsunoda.
Yuki Tsunoda.
Yep.
Silent T. There we go.
Yep.
And Liam Lawson are supposedly being rumored to be the leading contenders for that seat. So a little bit of shakeup in the old F1 series there in the driver's seat. So
Obviously, that's a partner car with Max Verstappen on the Red Bull team and is a very under the microscope ride in years past.
Want to talk about expectations? It's a great seat to step into one and be expected to compete and win right away.
Yep, got that right.
I didn't save it or bookmark it, but looks like NASCAR. Sounds like NASCAR poached a G1 higher up there. Um, NASCAR hired somebody from G1 to come over and run some higher up. I gotta try to find it. Maybe I did bookmark it.
Let's say I'm going through the guy I would expect to announce it, and that would have been old Pockrass.
Um,
Oh, right here. Greg Stimmel, who was the senior vice president for commercial for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Uh, as its chief
sorry.
sales officer. So
Yep.
basically, he'll oversee all NASCAR, both tracks, and sanctioning body sponsorship deals. That was probably the news that you saw.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, I didn't see that. So good call.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Just scrolling through the old um, bookmark section here and seeing.
Um, I'll talk about this while you're searching. So there is an update on the NASCAR lawsuit with 2311 and Front Row Motorsports. Today was the day that NASCAR. Today was the last day that NASCAR could file a motion for dismissal on the lawsuit before it went to trial, and they have done so. Um, some comments that came out of it. The plaintiff's complaint reflects nothing more than dissatisfaction with business negotiations that didn't go their way. Um, they also mentioned that both teams had purchased charters and were fully aware that they contained a release provision, uh, um, which needed to be accepted before any requested transfer be considered. Basically, they also said that the plaintiffs, i.e., 2311 from Motorsports, knew that the charters were worth $1 million, and NASCAR increased the revenues available to teams as was requested. So they're basically saying that the teams acknowledge that the charters are worth the dollars that they're worth, and were given the revenue increase that they wanted, and they have
Yep.
no case.
Yep.
I feel like this could almost be a weekly segment for the entire off season for us.
So that's where we sit at right now. So essentially, we're going to trial.
Correct.
Is the gist of it
Never thought you'd be hearing those words come out of your mouth together.
for NASCAR?
Correct.
Yep.
The organization itself, yeah.
Yeah. This is, and I've mentioned this before, and I've heard some others say this as well. This is unprecedented times, and will be very. This will shift the tides of NASCAR as we know it.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah. Freaking wild.
yep. What a time to be alive.
And that's what they say, I guess.
I just checked my bookmarks. Got all the random facts out there for me. So I don't know if you guys got any other random facts that you want to throw in the segment.
Just
Nope.
other than some paint schemes came out for Dome. Um, Nick Hoffman is putting the old man in his modified.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Speak of that, that's like a perfect segue.
yeah. Um, the old tire changer is changing the topic, and we're rolling right into um, what's going to be 3 days of elbows up, tempers flaring, racing all weekend long. We are headed to the Dome for the 2024 Gateway Dirt Nationals for 3 nights of racing, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. In the Dome, Thursday and Friday's preliminary features paying $5,000 to the winner, and then Saturday night, the Dome gets freaky with the best driver introductions you could argue in all of racing, and racing for a swift $30,000. So I'll kick it to you guys and just see, uh, you know, little preview what you guys are thinking, what some storylines you guys got for us here as we head into uh, a big weekend in dirt super late model racing and modifieds.
Bring the deck pieces along.
Yeah. Make sure that you're going to need a lot of extra braces.
Braces, tin, decking, quarters,
You name it.
you name it. Yep.
Now, on the
No,
positive side, as a fan, great event to buy if you're looking for sheet metal.
yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Pierce has already got his pretty much sheet metal up for purchase.
Yeah, stuff that's on the car that hasn't even raced yet is for sale.
Yep.
That's kind of crazy, actually.
And it's 2 of each.
Yeah.
So he's planning on having to swap.
He's planning on having a reckoning. He's kind of counting himself on making the feature, too.
Yeah, which obviously he didn't make it last year. But that's the
Right.
thing though with this event too, and this goes for the Derby as well, is that it's not easy to make it in. I
Oh,
mean,
you
you
get behind
gotta
it.
be,
You get behind at the Dome and you are shit out of luck.
yep, you gotta be on your game and have a little bit of luck on your side.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to be on your game, but you also, I hate saying this because it's kind of hurts my soul a little bit to say this. This is kind of the one place that it's all right to rough somebody up a little bit.
Yeah, it's all take and no give.
You can kind of, I don't want to say wreck somebody, but you can get into them pretty good to try to make ground
You
because it's
got you
just,
got to put your nose in there when you don't necessarily shouldn't have.
yeah, this is kind of the one get out of jail free cards.
Yep, yep.
It's more, I would say, it's a little bit more socially acceptable to give somebody the old right rear um, and slide them, or to uh, stick your nose, get your nose in there and get them up the track a little bit. This is the one event that I feel like it's general consensus across the board that everybody knows and understands coming to this event. Rubbin is racing.
As long as you don't flat out wreck a guy,
Yep.
everything's acceptable.
Yep. I
Uh,
I'm curious to see who's got what planned for driver intros.
Yep. Obviously, that's the one of the probably the best of driver intros that you'll ever see because it gives
Yep.
the freedom to the guys as far as what they want to do.
Yep. Yeah,
And it's usually kept secret up until,
they walk out.
yep, it's kept close to the chest.
Let's go back to Rico coming out on Scott Bloomquist's shoulders.
Yep.
Start there. Last year we had Gold
How's-
Jim.
that we did. One thing I guess I was going to say that will be interesting is uh, the way the track changes across the 3 nights. Because usually when you get to Saturday night for that feature, that thing is chopped up and bumpy as all get out. So, again, you want to talk about you got to be on it every single night. You're going to have a changing track, and you can't afford to miss it because if you get behind the 8 ball, you got a long night ahead of you.
Yep.
Oh God, yeah.
And I mean, you got you've got 150 cars racing, and they're split fields on Thursday and Friday. So you're talking about you got to beat 74 other guys, essentially.
Yep. In a single night.
Yep.
And another thing to watch is, I think it was last year, hot laps. An old HO76 got her up too high, and he smashed her up in practice. Said, "Yep, I'll head up to the broadcast booth for the rest of the weekend."
Yep.
So,
make note of that.
That is going to be some.
Make note of that for your race.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing to bring up. Some of these guys, I would say the majority of them got a backup, but some of these guys are going to show up and they're going to be hot lapping, and something's going to happen, and that's going to be their weekend. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part of racing, but I would expect that split features on Thursday and Friday have 75 to dwindle down.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. But
and again, only 20 cars start on Saturday night.
Yep. 20 supers, 20 modifieds.
Yep.
Got a couple guys running what's the word?
Double duty.
Double duty. Yep. There we go. Got a couple guys running double duty this weekend. So I know RTJ is one of them. He's got the modified and the late model ready to rock and roll.
Did that last year too.
Yep. And so, again, just more seat time for some of those guys. But it's going to get pretty interesting from the drop of the first green flag on Thursday night across all series. Or across both series.
Oh, yeah. It's rough and rowdy.
Yep. And we got to remember too, this was one that we didn't know if it was going to happen either.
Yeah. We had questions after last year, and they signed a 3-year deal on this, so we got 2 more years after this yet even.
Yep. So I'm excited.
This event, yeah, I am too. Last year it was awesome across the board. So hopefully this event continues to evolve, and they continue to, step up their game and make it better. So
JD making his return.
Again, yeah, we got some big names that we didn't get to see there last year. Jonathan Davenport, not only making his return, but coming back with the best paint scheme in the field.
The only race car to ever have brown that looks good. Like, let's not kid ourselves. That's the only race car that makes brown look good.
Yeah.
Come on, Dale Jarrett, the 88 UPS car. That was a sharp-looking race car.
Well, yeah.
Well, fit the sponsor.
Yeah, no shit.
So,
yeah.
Nope, it'll be good.
So
we're kind of. I was gonna say we're kind of talking about it here. Do we need to make some race picks?
Yeah.
I was gonna say we're gonna make some race picks later, or we want to talk about some contenders here who we expect.
Well, let's make some picks and then let's justify them.
Okay.
This is where, if anything, you guys are going to gain some ground on me on the old point standings here. Which let's touch on that real quick, and then we'll touch on the picks. So I'm currently in the lead. I'm up by about 39 points over Cam, and then Kellen, you're sitting in third.
Yeah.
By almost 100. So this is where guys can make up some ground on me because I'm a little unintelligent on this side of it, we'll call it. So
yeah. Who gets to pick?
I was about to say, what's picking order here?
It should be me because I had Morrissey who dropped out first, I think.
Let's see. I had the actual points gathered up here.
Because I think I had the first car that didn't finish.
You had the least number of points out of your two picks as well. So if you wanted to go that route,
God damn it.
so if you want first pick, I have no opposition to it.
Okay, I'll go first.
All right, then we're doing two picks, and I'm assuming snake draft.
Yep. Um, I'm just gonna make this one very, very easy. Give me turbo.
Ooh. Any justification to it, or
Won it 2 years ago, finished sixth last year. Finds a way to get himself in the show. He ain't afraid to rough somebody up, and he'll just tell you, just had to do what I had to do.
all right?
So I'll take the one.
Cam, you can go second for your first pick.
I'm not even gonna mess around here. I'm gonna go the old B5, Brandon Shepard. And again, justification. Well, before I get into that, FYI, still got that B Shep merch, 50% off Cyber Monday deal. I'm selling that Longhorn merch that I bought. So anybody wants it, get in the comments on the YouTube channel in YouTube, and we'll get connected. 50% off, whatever store price he's got on it. So, but no, he is back with the old. Saw the nice paint scheme. Always got to take that into consideration. Nice paint scheme, and then he's first race back, supporting that old Rocket 1.2 across the old back. So he's back in familiar territory. I think this is going to be a good pairing. Again, they show what they could do previously. Bishop's only gotten better, and the Rocket One team has shown it doesn't really matter who's driving the car. Um, it's going to be bad fast, and it's going to be up front. And so I think Bishop will be um, he'll be up there. He'll be up front. And again, he won this thing last year. If you could argue the baddest paint scheme of all. So um, give me Bishop.
All right. Well, I get two picks here then, and actually, I get my top two picks that I had written down here before we got started tonight.
I thought for sure I would have took your pick because Van Grohl, his research usually is. I'll take you through his mind of research or race picks. 2023 race winner, whoever wins it, that's his pick.
Well, hey, I'm gonna take the guy that your boy Shepard beat last year as my first pick. Give me RTJ as my first pick. Obviously, like I said, he was second there last year in the late model. He won a prelim race last year, actually. Um, if I remember right, let me flash back to it. Yes, he won the second prelim night last year, so obviously he ran good. Again, finished second to Brandon Shepard last year. So that's my first pick. And with my second pick, I mean, I got to go with my homeboy. I got to go with Hoffman, who, again, also won a prelim night last year for the Nationals. He won night one. Ran good. If I remember right, he had a tire go down late.
I think
Or
you're
he had
right.
some kind of mechanical
he,
issue.
Yeah, he had one issue that he was running up front and he lost a couple spots.
Yep, late. So I'm going with Hoffman there. Um, Still finished 10th in the Saturday night race, but those are my two guys. I'm going RTJ and I'm going Hoffman.
Okay.
So Cam, back to you for pick number two.
Well, if pick number two is going to be picking with the heart, not the results, then
The
give me
boy
the old,
himself.
the baddest paint scheme of all. Give me that old 49.
Okay.
All right.
Take the old Fast 49.
Colin, you're kind of
All
looking
right.
back, aren't you?
I'm actually, so I don't know if you guys remember. I'm looking at this race because this place is very much the same. I am currently looking at the Castrol Floracing Night in America race at Macon. Does anybody remember that whole deal?
Not really.
Little bull ring, guys were junked. Brandon Shepard was hung upside down for what felt like an hour.
That race, yep.
Turbo ran everyone over. Garrett Alberson had a car parked on his deck and he managed to finish the race. And there was a guy that started on the pole and he ended up ultimately finishing second. He loves the dome. Him and Hocevar got into it last year. Give me Jason Fager.
Ooh.
He had a series of unfortunate events last year. I got the itch and I got that feeling in my bones that he's going to do something this year. So give me the 25 out of Illinois, Jason Fager.
All right.
So
Okay, so we've got our picks. Any other guys that we should keep an eye out on? I'm going through last year's results. I mean,
Tanner
I think
English.
Tanner English, yep. I was gonna say a guy that I don't know how he does it, but he always does it at this race. Carpenter, Tyler Carpenter.
And he won that thing 2 consecutive years. Last year he had an issue, but 2 consecutive years he won the damn thing.
Yep.
Shannon Babb always finds a way in. He's a steady Eddie. I mean, Devin Moran was 4th last year.
Can never count him out. Didn't make the show on Saturday due to a spin, but the old 32 of Bobby Pierce.
Yeah,
He's gonna have something to say about who's getting that $30,000 check.
yep.
Oh, hey, remember when I said Hoffman had an issue last year? Well, I'm looking right at it as we speak. He had a destroyed right rear because of a tire.
Got it. Here you have
So
it.
I'm looking at right here.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, looking at the Macon race, the Macon one I just looked at that as something, a place that you could kind of say is comparable. RTJ, Fager, Huddy, Turbo, Bobby Pierce was 6th. Spencer Hughes was 9th. He kind of finds his way into that show.
Hughes.
Yup. Those are kind of the notable ones in the top 10.
Coming to say hi.
So,
No, again, it's obviously a stout field, and
yeah.
Not only do we have Tyler, but which I
Fast
just learned
Freddy.
about a week, which I just learned about a week ago that his fastest ponytail, Fast Freddy, had a solid run there last year. So he'll have something to say in the old, I think it's the old C4 car.
Yep.
Oh, it'll be good.
Some other guys that didn't make the show, I don't know if I saw them, but the Gundakers.
Yep.
There were some guys that were in there last year. The old Hunt the Front crew had a solid run going last year. The old Wall grabbed them. They're making a trip back again.
Yep.
What about Troutman? Is he in a?
He won the
late model this
modified
weekend?
race last year.
Yeah, I know he won the modified race last year, but is he in late model? No.
Give me a minute. I have to page the list quick. I can let you know.
I don't. We can't
think
forget
so.
about our boy the Herminator in the modifieds.
Oh, Kenny Wallace.
Yup.
And then the Millennial Farmer himself.
Yup. Zach Johnson.
Unless I paged over him, no Troutman in the supers.
I also do love this race too. Last year, solid run in a prelim night and in the final night too. A guy like Chris Simpson.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get some of those this weekend too, where um, somebody unexpected is gonna show up with a good piece and run up front and have something to say about who's getting that $30,000 check.
Joyner, Trevor Gundaker, Ashton Winger, Kyle Hammer, Ryan Unzicker, Sam Seawright, Charlie Ledford, Turbo, Shannon Babb, Stevie Shepard, Jason Riggs, Will Harrington. I mean, yeah, the list is absolutely bonkers.
It's the last hurrah for the year.
Yep. Gonna go wreck your shit and try to fix it before the Wild West Shootout of Auto,
Yep.
or just buy a new one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'd be exciting. Floracing, that's the place to watch it. So,
Yep. Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
yep. Well, should we head to the other granddaddy of the weekend?
Oh
Yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say any other fun thoughts on the dome here?
No, I'm ready. It'll be exciting. Be fun.
Before we get to another granddaddy of them all, talk about the toughest race to make, toughest race in all of asphalt super late model racing. We've got the Snowball Derby coming up this weekend. So, um, where do we want to start?
Well, first off, let's start with that it's a $50,000 check to win this year.
Yeah.
Start with that.
Moves over to
Yep.
Flow Racing as well, correct?
And moves over to Flow Racing.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
kickoff show starts tomorrow night at 7 o'clock if you want to watch on Floracing.
So 300 laps, $50,000. And I'm trying to find the number of entrants. I've got the list, but I'm trying to find the number of entrants here. It's a lot, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to go through the list here since I got it here. Obviously, you got Bubba, Noah Gregson, Stephen Nasse. We just talked about him. Giro Ruggerio's in here. Hind, Butcher, Trayton Lapsevich, who's been doing good in the late model stock this year. Billy Van
Yep.
Meter, Derek Kraus, Dawson Sutton, DeAngelis, talked about him just recently. Derek Thorne, obviously a former winner of this race. Um, Jake Finch, Sawalich, who'll be driving for Kevin Harvick Racing this
Yep.
weekend. Matt Craig, Jonathan Nee, Caden Honeycutt, obviously Majeski, your last year's winner. Johnny Sauter, Jake Garcia, who's coming off of the All-American 400 win at Nashville. Boris Yorkovic, always a namesake there. Jeremy Doss, Connor Kresick, Brent Cruz, Chandler Smith, Fenhouse, Carson Quaffle just announced recently, and David Gilliland also racing in this one.
Yep.
So,
Caden Honeycutt,
Caden Honeycutt, yep.
Jacob
Sammy Smith.
Gomes, Sammy Smith, Noah Gregson,
Yep.
Kyle Steckley, Jake Garcia, Nick Loden, Jeremy Doss, Jake Finch. I mean,
And then others
I
who's.
I just saw her driving the 55. Interesting.
55 or is it the 5S?
Well, it's listed as the 55, but
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there was a misread on the pencil there.
Yep.
But
So, no, either way, and Cam, you mentioned it's one of the toughest races to qualify in for. You want to talk about being on the mark.
you know, it's the most intense qualifying session in all of super late model racing.
Yep.
I mean, not even a doubt. That's you have to not only you have to have the car set up correct, you have to be on it from the second you basically fire the motor.
Mm-hmm.
From getting up to speed to making it into turn 3 to get set up to go into 1. Like it's just you have to be just locked in, laser focused from start to finish.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to see if you guys know this reference. Is this the year?
Huh. Boy, it's hard to say no. It's always something though. It's always something.
Last year was Nasty.
It was nasty.
Is this the year that the 26 gets a Tom Dawson?
It's hard. I get it. It's hard to say no. It really is. And I don't know. But you
Ah,
could say the same thing for Nasty too.
say the same thing for Kraus.
Well, I can make a better argument for Nasty and Pollard.
Fair.
I'm gonna say no.
No. All right. So do we get a first time winner or do we get a repeat winner?
Repeat. I hold
You're thinking about it now.
well. So that
Repeat.
was gonna
Yep,
that
repeat.
okay.
Well, shit, no.
Yeah,
Kraus
now
would be
you're
a first
rethinking about
timer.
it.
Kraus would be a first timer. I think we might get a first timer.
You know what? Now I'm saying first timer. You talked me right out of the repeat.
I'm saying
Give me,
repeat.
give me Nasty or Bubba.
All right.
Give me one of them two. I'm taking a first timer.
This is one of those races too that obviously strategy comes into play. You know, knowing when to take your tires, when guys are pitting. Obviously, however many years ago they went to the controlled cautions for these, for this race. Um,
Yep. That and it being a 300 lap affair.
correct. I mean, you're talking about one of the longest races on the year too.
That thing is an absolute marathon.
Yep. A race that takes attrition for sure. Um,
Yep.
and it takes the best of them. And it only takes, last year we had that or was it last year or 2 years ago? We had a restart that, was 2 years ago. That took a lot of guys out.
Yep.
Then obviously, it took that one instance of Nasty and Bubba, which I don't think anybody really truly knows what happened there. But
Yep.
you have that come into play as well. So pressure is high and people crack under this type of pressure.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. On Wednesday morning, you can watch rig parking if you want.
Yeah.
9 a.m. Floracing, dial it up. Rig parking.
So I don't know. I'm kind of ready to make a race pick here.
Yep.
Oh,
I'm feeling real good about my race pick here too.
All right. So I think it's another one of those two picks, snake draft style. Do we need to
yep,
go in reverse order of the last one?
probably.
Let's
So it'd be me, Cam, Kellen, Cam, me. If that's
Yeah.
the way you want to go about it.
Okay. All right.
And the obvious question that we got to throw out here, I feel like I know the answer though. Is Majeski on the table?
Yeah.
For this one, I'm going to say yes.
I would tend to agree. So I mean, shit, it's kind of hard to pass him up at this point. I got to take him, Majeski. So that
Okay.
gives Cam the next pick. And Kellens, you're right on the verge of either of joy or of disappointment, depending on Cam's pick here.
Yeah, correct.
I know the direction you're going.
Cam?
Um, I guess with pick number 1, give me Bubba Pollard.
Okay. He was going to be off the board, but
Soon, yeah. All right, so Kellen.
It was one of those. It was one of those where if I didn't pick him, I knew he wasn't going to come back to me. So goes against my total logic of not thinking a first timer is going to get the win. But
give me Nasty.
All right, so you get the next pick then as well.
I'll go that 9K, man.
No. Um, give me give me Thorn. I can't not pick him. Give me the 7T of Derek Thorn.
Coming to help me pick.
Cam, back to you again.
So I'm going to go with an oddball pick here. A little bit. Just with all the connections that were mentioned. Um, yeah, you like that hat? That's a nice one. And we're going to pick Sammy Smith, aren't we? You
Sammy
like that
Smith.
pick? Yep. Yep, she likes that pick. Sammy Smith.
All right. Looking at last year's lineup here. Well, I think I'm going to go with the guy that just got announced into a truck race. Give me Ruggiero.
Yeah,
Ooh.
he crossed my mind as well. You know who else kind of crossed my mind? Johnny D.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
Do you know who I crossed my mind?
Oh,
Michael Hind.
All right, so here's your top 10 from last year. Let's start with that. So your top 10 from last year: Ty Majeski, Gio Ruggiero, Travis Braden, Cole Butcher, Matt Craig, Nassie, Derek Griffith, Fenhouse, Jacob Gomes, William Swalch. That was your top 10. So,
Matt Craig as well also crossed my mind.
Matt Craig crossed my mind.
Quapple will be
Carson would be
interesting.
a good one.
Yup.
I think Matt Craig really likes these long races.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know. Another good one. That's going to be a good show for Sunday afternoon.
Jeremy Doss always finds his way into the feature, but he's got to keep the motor in that thing before they even gets there.
Correct. Correct.
You know, Dawson Sutton with Rackley War wouldn't be an awful pick.
Johnny can run good.
Yup.
If he can keep the rear axle together.
You know, Michael Heineken mentioned him. Somebody right below him on the entry list that's kind of had a little success of late would be Caden Lapsovich.
Yeah.
He's ran well of recent. Oh God, Connor Jones is in the field. Look out, boys and girls.
Another one that I was going to leave you to comment on.
Yeah, well, give him about 6 feet of space. Yeah, the hard part is let's be honest, there's going to be a wreck somewhere that's going to take somebody out that we weren't expecting.
Yep, 100%.
It might be early and it might be really late coming down the stretch, but there's going to be a wreck somewhere that you're going to have to navigate.
And something with that too is that the last chance race can get pretty rough and rowdy too.
The last chance guys rough each other up traditionally. That last chance race last year was rough and rowdy.
Yeah.
You had Sammy Smith and Carson Holsevar get together on the front stretch.
Mm-hmm.
The chrome horn comes out in a hurry. So, yeah, that's really what it comes down to.
Yep.
So, any final thoughts?
I'm excited.
This weekend pays for a flow for by itself if you're
Yep.
interested in flow racing. I know we've mentioned it before. They offer a great service. So,
And you're going to see two fantastic broadcasts.
yep. Two
Talk
excellent.
about having a crew of broadcast teams as well.
Yep. A+ operations. I just looked at the schedule real quick. The only other race on our schedule that we have noted is G1 goes to Abu Dhabi.
Yep.
So,
last race of the year for them.
So that is the only other race we have on our schedule in terms of what's going on for weekend of racing.
Yep.
Yeah. I think right, you hit the nail on the head there. This weekend racing is a fun weekend for us, to say the least. Again, if you don't have Flow Racing, first year Snowball Derby's on Flow Racing. So if you don't have it, now's a great time. We're not even sponsored by Flow, and we're promoting their stuff. So if anybody on Flow ever catches wind of this, we'd love to come on board and maybe do a little collab. But
Some graphic design for them. I've been rocking that.
Yeah. So again, catch all the action this weekend on Flow, and again, it starts with hauler stacking on Wednesday morning, and qualifying Dome on Thursday, Dome on Friday. It's business is picking up, and caps off on Sunday with the Snowball. So great weekend ahead of us.
Yep.
I was gonna say, any other final thoughts?
Lock into Flow starting on Wednesday. If you want to watch Haulers Park, what is always the saying when he comes in?
Now look coming in, or yeah.
It's all dude, epic. So, it's now see this.
Now see this. Yep. The only time hauler parking ever gets attention.
Yeah, televised.
Yeah.
So, Yeah. There you have it.
I was gonna say, I don't think we need to. It's up to you guys. If you want to get into these race previews, I think we,
Oh, we touched on them already.
Yeah.
yeah, we touched on them already. So, as
Oh,
we wrap this thing up, yeah, get in here
I'm
before we
going to
wrap
post a
this thing up.
graphic. We are going to go live on YouTube for the Derby on Sunday.
Yep.
We'll post on our socials, obviously on the YouTube channel as well. We are going to go live for the Derby. That was an absolute hit last year. We're doing it again this year. So we'll be live on YouTube. If you're looking for some interaction or you can't watch a race, you want maybe a few updates, play by play, whatever it is, hop on the channel, get the chat going, and we'll go from there.
Yep.
So,
Any other final thoughts?
nope.
Ready for the weekend.
Yeah, fired up.
Yeah. Well, if we don't have any other final thoughts, this wraps up a pretty short and sweet episode of the Tuesday Track Talk podcast, episode number 62 there, and heavy with two of the big, I don't want to say off-season races, but kind of last big races of the year for us. And so, again, we're just beating the same drum. If you don't have flow, today or tomorrow is a great time to get in it and start with Wednesday morning with hauler parking, and for the Snowball Derby, and then Thursday we're right into racing action for prelim night number 1 at the Dome. So, as always, don't be afraid to like, comment, subscribe, share the old podcast with your best friends, and I'm not going to say see you next week because we'll see y'all Sunday for the Snowball Derby.